dirt bike engine in it that Steve Bagshaw's been building with IM, Innovative Moto, for the last 4 or 5 years, and it's just started working out real well for us.
Who built the frame?
I'm not entirely sure, but it was built. The frame was built in New Zealand, so hand built, and then just with a KTM engine strapped into it.
Yeah, a chap in Palmerston North, I believe. So,
Yeah.
what does it handle like?
Oh, it's awesome. It's a little weapon. I'm sure you can see through the infield. It just carves through the infield like butter, like a hot knife through butter. It's just awesome to ride. And then now that we've been working together with Biggles and Red Baron, Biggles Racing and Red Baron over the last couple of days, we've finally got a really good setup going for it. And yeah, can't wait to get on it for nationals.
I see another one in the pits. Is there any plans to build any more?
Yeah, well, that one's just kind of sitting there at the moment. We're kind of not doing much development on it. We're trying to build this one up to be as fast as we can get it, but it's always good to have a spare bike in case, something happens.
All right, thank you, Regan Phipps.
Yeah.
Zurin Wiki from Hamilton.
Yeah, I had a good ride actually. It was a lot of fun chasing down Eddie there in third place. So I was hoping to get him on the last lap, but it wasn't quite the way.
What's his handle like compared with his Ducati?
I'm not too sure actually. He's probably got more torque and
Where was he going?
Oh, just mostly on the straights. Yeah, he's just pulling away. So it was pretty quick.
You had more corner speed. What made you go for this class?
Well, I was riding the 600s on the Kawasaki, and I just wanted something different. And then Triumph came to the party with a good package for me. So yeah, they really helped me out with a new bike, and yeah.
You're riding it well. Thank you, Zurin Wiki.
Yeah, cheers. Thank you.
Right, Scotty Griffiths is the man that built the IMD chassis for the little KTM engine already. We've got a couple of laps down in the Supersport, Formula 2 Pirelli. Power is nothing without control class, and on Pirelli tyres out in the front it is Shane Richardson. We've got a lap record for Formula 2, 132.44. We're in the 132.7 mark at the moment, so way off that lap record. I could see Toby Summers come through on the Carl Cox Motorsport Mad Love Media sponsored machine there on the 22 bike. Had a crash last race, and he rejoined the race and got an 8th place, but the rules are you can't rejoin, so was handed a disqualification. Didn't matter, it just fueled his fire to get out there and go hard charging in this second Formula 2 race here at Taupo Motorsport Park, courtesy of Carl Cox Motorsport. A lot of the riders out there, including, as I mentioned, Toby Summers in 3rd place, David Hall, Avalon Biddle. Well, that's good up for her, up to 4th place. Saw her in the New Zealand Superbike Championship, since he was right on the tail of those top 3 podium boys. In fact, up into 3rd place and had a big crash at turn 5. Was all right, but just didn't dent her confidence, but just a bit of a shame, because that's the best I've ever seen her ride, to be quite honest. But she's riding like the wind at the moment on the Motor Trade Finance Aussie prepared Kawasaki 600, courtesy of Spectrum Motorcycles. There it is. Shane Richardson goes through a 139, so yeah, could get a lap record today, but David Hall and Toby Summers having a big battle like they did last time. Unfortunately, David Hall lost his front end and took out Toby Summers. They're at it again, coming out of turn 3 here at Taupo, back to 21, and then we go to Nathan Jane on the 90 machine, Rogan Chandler on the Yamaha, the number 15 bike there in 6th spot. You've got Jake Keller on number 12, Ashton Hughes, Jacob Stroud on the MV Augusta, Rex Mincher, the local ad, the Mad Minch on 23, Jaden Galway on the Triumph 675, John Crawford, Tyler Fern, Scotty Dowman and Jeff Crook. That's what my timing screen shows me. What do we got? We've got 19 competitors in the class, but 15 on the timing screen. Don't forget, you can watch all this on CTAS live timing now, but you can also watch it in about a day or so. He'll load that footage. What an amazing footage he's got for one man with a few stationary cameras around the track. He's got his moving camera, and he's got a new setup there to do slow motion. If he identifies a bit, he goes back there while you're watching the race and puts on that slow motion. And of course, he's also linked it in with the live timing, and the results are coming up just like they do at MotoGP on the screen. So already Shane Richardson, this is not as healthy a lead as he had before. He knows what he has to do. He only has to win by a tyre tread if he needs to, so he's conserving his bike. And this is very hard to do, just to ride within the concentration level. Slow down where you can. Toby Summers is starting to reel him. In fact, what does Toby do? A 131.1 for that last lap, a 131.4 4.79 for Shane Richardson. So Toby can see him there. He's got David Hall in behind him. David Hall's in the 1:31.8 mark, so not making inroads there. But meanwhile, Avalon Biddle is on fire there on the 21 machine, followed by Nathan Jane, and then it is Rogan Chandler on the Yamaha. So Kawasaki, Suzuki, Kawasaki, I think that's a Suzuki, and then a Yamaha. Ashton Hughes, the first of the non-Japanese bikes on the 92 machine. Lives in Fielding, works at Ohakia, and he's got, Neil mentioned his home track is Manfield. Yes, it is, but technically also Greymouth. I travelled back from Greymouth with him, where he had some wins in the Formula 2 class, and in the street circuit also got second, I think, in the big open class on the 675 Triumph. He gave the man of the meeting, Jay Lawrence, a hard time in a couple of those races, and I think maybe with a bit of gear changing, gear alterations, he might have been able to give Jay Lawrence a bit more of a hard time. So he's got two local tracks, his home street circuit in Greymouth and his local one in Fielding, Manfield, where we'll be at next weekend. Richardson opens it up. They all open it up down that big long straight. Have we got a little bit of rain coming on there? No, thanks, Neil. All right, sorry, over to you, Neil.
No, there is no rain. We jacked it up with the locals. The rain generally comes here around 5:30 or 6 o'clock at night, and we'll our guesstimation is be finishing racing about 5 o'clock, so we'll get through it before the rain comes. Yes, it looks like rain does come, but it predominantly has been at twilight time, and that's where we were hoping, and certainly with the experience of the previous outings, will be the same again today. So bring it on with our Pirelli Power is Nothing Without Controlled F2 Racing, and Shane Richardson igniting the field, not getting the big challenges that he's had here in the past, but I'll tell you what, neat to see the man fresh from the USA with Toby Summers and David Hall, of course. They had the big shot at the moment, and I'd recommend that Terry Stevenson took an opportunity to show Mad Love Media and the rest of the team the photos that you've been able to take of that incident last time. So I'll tell you what, Mad Love Media normally gets some good photos, but I reckon Terry Stevenson got some beauties of that one. So Spider, remembering of course that Toby and David didn't finish the last race, so we're really getting an ignition of this series, and people like Rogan and Nathan, who've done so very, very well, are further back. But look at that for Avalon. She almost made the podium with a fourth last time, and that's exactly where she is this time, but more importantly in front of Nathan and Rogan, who were in front of her last time. So I can see this class, the exception of Shane Richardson, who looks to bolt, and with his international experience now, be by far the best in the class. That next battle, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, is going to be exceptional.
Yeah, the battle between Avalon Biddle and David Hall is hotting up. David Hall 1:32.5, Avalon a 1:32.1, so she's got a couple of seconds to make up there, but she's within spitting distance now, and you can see them coming down that long straight. Avalon on the 21 machine, the yellow Motor Tride Finance supported machine, so she's got the sights, so she can see David Hall on a bike that's probably about 2006 or even 2008. Don't forget, this is the same sort of year as Jay Lawrence was on when he won the Formula 2 class at Wanganui this year, and then had his spectacular moment where he tipped it over. So all that gap's closing between first and second as well. Shane Richardson in the front, Toby Summers on the Carl Cox Motorsport bike in second place. David Hall goes through turn 2 here into turn 3, and Avalon is now about 80 metres behind. She can smell it, she can see it, and now she's 0.7 of a second quicker. So here it is, it's hotting up. Turn 5, the yellow bike versus the white bike. The white and blue bike in the front. David Hall from Te Awamutu, the dairy farmer, and Avalon Biddle. She's moved to Christchurch recently, Rangiora, to be with a partner, and she did tell me what she was doing for a living there, but right now we're more interested in motorcycle racing.
Well, that was a lucky break there, Spider. I was thinking we were going down a particular path. Special hi to Lynn out here today. Lynn's joined us all the way from Battersea, and that's from the UK, and she's here for Team Summers Racing. So lovely to have her on board with us. So wouldn't have it any other way. The family have come over for Christmas, so nice to see. So special hi, and lovely to have you on board. And of course up here with at the moment is the real Team Summers with their shirts and their Mad Love Media caps on as well. So Kirsten, the girls, and cousin Lynn, lovely to have you on board with us. Wouldn't have it any other way. This is what New Zealand racing's all about. So Shane, Toby and David in there, good performances, and David Hall, Spider, you'll recall, showed some great promise a few years ago, and every now and again he just comes out with one of those wins, doesn't he? In fact, I think he won just one out of the blue. What was the conditions? It was
that was the real wet race at Hampton Downs. It was won before the New Zealand GP, TT. He then went and won the New Zealand, got second in the next race, but that was an outstanding ride. One of the wettest New Zealand Superbike Championship races I've ever seen. Out of turn 1, into turn 2, 34-21, 34 David Hall from Te Awamutu, 21 Avalon Biddle, formerly Orewa. That is closing up, and behind them too, it's closing up between Rogan Chandler and Nathan Jane as well. Rogan in front of those two, so all eyes there to the turn 7 at the moment. We're watching Shane Richardson go through. Toby Summers are in a bit of a lonely position, but these other two battles there, particularly one for the podium, is closing up as we've got 2 laps to go here at Taupo Motorsport Park for the Suzuki Series.
Loving this one as well at the moment. If you keep your eye on those top 5, you've got the 1, then you've got the 4. What about going to that next quartet? Because those next 4 in there are just rocking and rolling in there. And we look at some of these margins in here. 0.22 from 0.27 from 0.25. That's how close those guys are. So fabulous to see when they're putting it. And that's the Ashton Hughes, Jacob Stroud and Rex Mincher battle. So I tell you what, you've got Jacob and Rex. They've got probably a polar opposite of 30 odd years between them. So there's certainly a few years to cover in here. But Jacob and Rex, and I bet you Rex is having an absolute buzz with the young gun and amongst them all there, and Ashton Hughes, who both Spider and I have been talking about in his great excellence in racing. What I love about what Ashton's doing is doing it on the lesser powered bike, the Triumph 675, and also of course doing it with far less experience than many of those other campaigners are up in front of him at the moment. But it is the Shane Richardson show and the Pirelli shod man doing it in the Pirelli sponsored race. And interesting, that's 2 riders that have changed to Pirelli tyres this year from other brands who were both interviewed on the podium, and both of them are raving about the change to Pirelli tyres. Power is nothing without control, and many others have done it as well and realised the virtues of it. And this is that other group that we're talking about, and let's watch for them to come. Here's Jake, Ashton, Jacob and Rex. Look at that, 1, 2, 3, 4 in there as they go flying past, and those margins now at 0.17, 0.36, 0.39, so super close together in there, and the charge is all on. So Jake, Ashton, Jacob and Rex, and I'll tell you what, Ashton getting a hurry up there because he doesn't want to get overtaken by Jacob Stroud. Spider.
Yeah, Jacob's done well. He had that crash, I think, at turn 1 on the Kramer in the Formula 3 class, so it's good to see him back on the track and not suffering any personal damage. They're busy fixing up the bike. It'll be out next session and that. Right now, looking out for Shane Richardson. Flies down that long straight there. The white flag is out, and 82 goes past Terry Moran, but Shane Richardson, where is Shane? He's I've lost spot. There he is, coming flying down that long straight. He came out of turn 11 and braking into that chicane onto the front straight. The turn 13 and 14 passes a back marker, already passed the back marker. It is Richardson after such a legendary ride in the States. Toby Summers on the Mad Love Media bike in second spot. There it is, Richardson, Summers. David Hall comes through, and Avalon Biddle is getting hounded by Rogan Chandler. Comes up on the inside, tries on the inside, but she shuts the door. It's going to be a drag to the line. David Hall goes through. It is Avalon Biddle, but I mean, Rogan Chandler, mate, that last lap was sensational for Rogan Chandler with Nathan Jane having the box seat. 0.1 of a second between those two riders there in that final lap. In fact, Avalon Biddle a 1:33.7, a 1:32.3, 1.4 seconds quicker in that last lap for Rogan Chandler. So Nathan Jane 97 goes through. There goes Ashton Hughes on the back wheel, followed by Jacob Stroud on the number 10 MV Augusta. Jake Keller on the 12 bike. Jake, you can do with some bigger numbers on your bike, please, so we can see you on the transponder system, but a bit more larger numbers and you'll be recognised by the crowd a bit more, and appreciate that, Jake. And Rex Mincher, number 23.